I am Mary of Magdala. You've read about me as Mary Magdalene. Maybe my name is familiar to you, but I wonder how much you really know about my life. My life was quite dramatic, but it isn't all about me. My whole life is about what Jesus did for a sinful woman. I am living proof of his grace and forgiveness. I met Jesus as he was traveling through villages, healing people and forgiving them of their sins. I had my own sin and guilt that kept me from being at peace with God. Jesus forgave my sins and brought me into his family. I spent the rest of my life following Jesus and doing everything I could to show him my love. Those were glorious days, being in his presence, hearing him talk and seeing his miracles as he drew people to himself. I wished it could have gone on forever. Of course it didn't. Suddenly, I was there at his crucifixion, watching him suffer. He spoke to his Father about being forsaken, and it broke my heart. I could not tear myself away from this man who had done so much for me. I waited for hours until he died, and then saw Joseph of Arimathea take his body to the tomb. I saw his body laid in the tomb, and the huge stone that was rolled to seal the tomb shut. It had such a sense of finality to it. I wanted to sit and grieve forever. With a sense of emptiness, I left, planning to return early in the morning to prepare his body. It seemed like one final thing I could do to show him my love. But I went to the tomb in the morning, and his body was gone. My sobs were uncontrollable when suddenly I heard a voice. I thought it was the gardener. I was hardly listening, hardly paying attention to him. And then he said my name. I turned and saw him, risen from the dead, standing in front of me as my radiant Redeemer. Everything he had to do as my Savior was finished. He had lived a perfect life on my behalf and died to pay for my sins. His resurrection was proof that he was the Messiah and God's plan of salvation was complete. I spent the rest of my life telling others about the free forgiveness he won for all mankind. That was my life. Jesus loved me enough to forgive my sins and allow me to serve him and tell others about what he had done. I don't know what might be tearing you apart inside, or what sin keeps you from being at peace with God. But whatever it is, Jesus died to free you and make you a child of God. If you aren't sure about that, talk to him yourself. If you are sure, then rest in the peace of forgiveness. Live for him and tell others about him. Let your days be filled with the glory of his presence as you let the word of Christ dwell in you richly.